2008, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hard Rock Park opens to awesome reviews. The Times of London would write, America's newest theme park has brought the genre to a new age of insubordinate adolescence through a combination of nerdy attention to detail, startling irreverence, and sly wit. Jon Binkowski, today CEO of Renaissance Entertainment, was Hard Rock Park Chief Creative Officer. Jon was responsible. He had assembled the real estate, he had assembled the financing, the IP, he had opened the park. Incredibly, 5 months later, Hard Rock Park would close. Our industry is in the business of storytelling. Today we will hear one of the most compelling stories in themed entertainment from Jon Binkowski himself, the rise and fall of Hard Rock Park.
A Led Zeppelin roller coaster is one of several rock and roll theme rides at a new Hard Rock theme park in South Carolina. It plays Whole Lotta Love through a 1,200-watt stereo system. Yeah. The park is full of these rides that are associated with various rock artists. Like another popular ride, the Rolling Stones Rascal Scooter Grand Prix. You don't want to miss that. Rolling Stones Rascal. Rolling Stones.
Where rock and roll meets some rocking rides. The Hard Rock theme park striking a high note for music fans. It looks like a lot of fun.
The first ever rock and roll theme park is now open. Hard Rock Park is celebrating its grand opening today in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It's the first new theme park in the U.S. in over a decade.
Hey, what up, world? It's your boy Sway. Right now I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the unveiling of the Hard Rock Park. This is a big deal. I'm talking big music, big rides. It's rock and roll, baby.
Mighty sold out. Myrtle Beach for the opening of the nation's first rock and roll theme park. We'll have her report on roller coasters and the biggest and the best coming up.
They have a Led Zeppelin roller coaster there.
Yeah, she was talking about that.
I love that.
Again, the Hard Rock Park opens today in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Jon Binkowski joins us live from Hard Rock Park.
Tonight, we have the Eagles that are playing. Tomorrow night, we have the Moody Blues that are playing at the park. We got all kinds of different rides, all with a little rock and roll theme.
The largest steel roller coaster in South Carolina.
If you're looking for a rockin' good time, this new park may be the place. Hard Rock's opened the world's first rock and roll theme park in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
From the wild rides to the live shows, this park's a hit with kids and grown-ups.
Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues reorchestrated Nights in White Satin for his band's ride.
And introduces maybe a whole lot of kids that have never heard Moody Blues or even Led Zeppelin.
Here at the Hard Rock Myrtle Beach, a new roller coaster with a rock and roll theme.
Describe that bad baby over there, because you got a 65-mile-an-hour coaster, right?
65 miles an hour. It's 155 feet high. We're just within the reach envelope of the airport, so don't raise your hands up.
You know the least popular ride? What's that? Oh, this one you want to stay away from. The George Michael's Haunted Men's Room. Stay out of that.
Jon Binkowski. Hard Rock Park opened June of 2008 and closed forever October 2008. So, what the fuck happened? I'm here to tell you. But first, I'm Jon Binkowski. I have a really cool company called Renaissance Entertainment. We do very good attractions, good shows. We've won awards and everything, but we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the Hard Rock Park thing, and Renaissance has been around a long time. Since 1989 to 2002, I was the CEO of the incorporated version, and then from 2010 until now, myself and my business partner Lisa Smith have been rocking it with the Renaissance. But in between that time, I was the chief creative officer of Hard Rock Park, 2002 to 2008. So 2009 Well, I did a little fishing in 2009 and hid under my desk. Okay. So before we talk about something that died, let's talk about how it came to life, because you guys have to go on this journey with me so that when it crashes and burns, you're just as upset as I am, okay? I'm going to give you the turbo version here. I got a lot of slides, so just watch the slides. Don't look at me. Here we go. It started, I live in Florida. I have for many, many years, but I did own a theater in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. How did I do that? That's a whole other elephant in the room we'll do next year. I did a show with Nancy Kerrigan, Halloween on Ice. We did Christmas. We did all the different things to prove that that's my daughter at 1 year old. She's 17 now. Oh, my gosh. Okay, anyway, there I am with Nancy Kerrigan. Here she is with Bob Ward. I don't know why. Talking with Mark Woodbury. Anyway, so me and the bank owned this little theater that I got my hands on. It was located in this area, and there's a picture of the little theater right there. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of development around there. We were part of a thing called Fantasy Harbor. It was a failed development, and not really so much because it was a bad idea. The patriarch had passed away. Things had kind of gotten sloppy. That's how I picked up the theater. But it was a failed thing, so it was hurting. So even though we had a great show with terrific reviews and everything, I had to deal with the fact that it was a tough environment. Now, looking around me, next to me was this beautiful piece of water, nice retention pond, and a closed mall. So that was kind of difficult. So here I am here, and money is flying out the window because I'm not, really doing it, and I've got to get out of this. And the bank is going, you got a payment due, what's up? So here's my idea. I have this idea. I tell it to my wife. I go, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to know my neighbors, and then we're going to pull together a bunch of property, and then we're going to put a theme park on the property, and then we'll make lots of money and everything will be great. And she goes, oh, that's terrific. What's plan B? And I'm like, I don't know. So I was feeling pretty good about it because Myrtle Beach, if you're familiar with Myrtle Beach, this is back in 2001. They had, 13 million visitors annually to this little location. I think they're up to almost 20 million a year now. So it's a great vacation destination. However, one of the things I learned is be careful. It's very difficult to pull people off the beach. There's not a whole lot of theme parks in Hawaii, okay? The reason why. But I had this great idea. It was going to be terrific. I was getting started on it. And then right in the middle of all that, because I thought, no problem, I've got work, that'll help pay, and we'll get this thing through, and I'm going to do a theme park. 9/11 happened. Okay, well, all of a sudden, this little theater became my only project because, as you all know, a lot of nothing happened for about 2 years there after 9/11. So here we are in the theme park. Now, work with me here. I'm going to flip the image here, okay? Whoa, okay. There is that water. There's that abandoned mall. There's my little theater, all right? So what we did is in May of 2001, we did a little doodle of what a theme park would look like there so we could show it to the neighbors and get them excited about it. Now, there is the water. There's the mall. Oh, we did a roller coaster too. Isn't that cool? There's the mall, and there's my little theater. Now, take a look at this. From May 2001 to May 2008, this is what happened. There it is. That's an aerial view of the Hard Rock Park. And there's my little theater. So the whole idea, it's not such a sad story, really. The whole idea was for me to get out from underneath this theater. I did get out from under the theater. All right, anyway, it was a long and winding road getting to the Hard Rock Park. I thought you might find this interesting. First, if you're going to do a theme park, and not too many people have done it from the ground up, Walt Disney, George Millay, I can't think of many others, you need to get some seed money. These are my neighbors. I got to know them, businessmen, locals of Myrtle Beach, and they're my seed money. And we formed a company based off of FHCP, Fantasy Harbor Theme Park, LLC. Or as Todd McCurdy calls it, flaming hot toilet paper. But anyway, here was my team to start off with. These were folks that were the employees of Renaissance mostly. And we called on an artist, Mike Conrad, just to do a conceptual of what this theme park would kind of look like. So this is what it was, Fantasy Harbor Theme Park. And the whole idea was, let's figure out how much it's going to cost to do this so that we can talk somebody into putting money into really doing the whole thing. So we said, look, we have no IP, speaking of IP, so what are we going to do? Let's do, Fantasy Harbor Theme Park, and it'll be the 4 seasons, okay? So here was the idea. You go in, if you turn to the right-hand turn, you've got the summer area. There's my theater. And then you've got fall, and then you've got winter, and there's an icon that we have in the middle of the lake, and there is spring, and everything's cool. So, taking it further, we got Cumming McGilvery involved. So in their team, so now we're doing cost estimating and feasibility studies and all that kind of stuff. They get Dameron Designs and introduced me to Greg Dameron. Dameron, he's really good. So he puts together a plan of what this Fantasy Harbor theme park would look like. And there it is. Now we're being professional, conservative. Let's not build out into the mall yet. That's future expansion area. Let's stay in tight. Try to pull off this theme park for like $17, $20 million. Let's just, try to do something, that we can pull off. So there's the design. Very nice. And then we got kind of a little fancy. Now there's the entry pavilion. And then we have Summer Bay and Spring Shores and Winter Wharf. Very professional. Autumn Reef. They all sound like hand sanitizers or something. Anyway. And here's speaking of public domain, Easter Bunny represents spring, Santa Claus winter, Uncle Sam, they're public domain. Let's do that. We can afford that. We bring in more consultants. George Becker, awesome gentleman that really was one of the key factors of the success of the SeaWorld parks in the 80s and 90s, comes in to help operations consult. Ralph Rodriguez and Peter Kanaapu. So we're doing feasibility studies, okay? But what I really needed was financing. Enter this guy. Ian introduces me to Stephen Goodwin. Stephen Goodwin starts putting together the numbers. Here we go. Attraction capacities, market research, financial this, financial that, more colored charts. So we put all this stuff together, all right? And we put a plan together. We got it all worked out, by the way. Shout out to Ken Hardy, who did a really rough conceptual design. And then he went off to go do real work because we didn't have any money. Our part-time consultants were working away. They were doing great. But the Renaissance team here, they were going away. Because remember, it's 2001. We had lost all of our work. They had to go get work elsewhere. So they had to go. I had a dream in my mind that someday, maybe in about 6 years, I would have this big team again that would be doing a theme park. And sure enough, that's what happened for a little while. So 9/11 was tough. So it's just myself and Stephen Goodwin. He didn't have a job. I didn't have a job. So let's focus on this. We put together this information and took it to banks. And the banks absolutely rejected it. They thought it was really stupid. They said, the banks, and this is how banks talk, they said, dude, you need a known IP. And I said, well, dudes, we knew that. We were just putting this together so we could have ROMs so that we could go to those people who have IPs and get them to come to Myrtle Beach and build a theme park. That's what we did. In 2002, we went and saw and talked to all of these people. Some have since merged together and so forth. But basically, we talked to everybody. Every single known theme park operator out there. And every one of them basically said no. Why? Because of this. Cannibalization. They didn't like the fact that Myrtle Beach would suck away from Orlando, or would suck away from Atlanta, or Virginia, or wherever. It was tough because they already had their properties there. So it was difficult to get somebody who wanted to put money into that. So I do not blame them. So we start looking for an IP because the banks are going, you need an IP or we're not going to lend you money. So we start searching for IP. This is who we found. The MGM Group. It was interesting timing because MGM and Disney were starting to part ways. And so MGM was very aggressive about getting out there, wanting to get their brand out there. We thought, oh, MGM, that's cool. All right, that's cool. They've got Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz and 007, blah, blah, blah. So we go, Greg Dameron, forget about Fantasy Harbor Theme Park. We're doing the MGM Park. So he starts working on the MGM Park. And there it is, the MGM Studio Theme Park all designed. We started moving into the maul a little bit there because it's the MGM Studio Park now. So here we go. Problem was this. They have a great, brand with a lion, but back earlier than when we got involved, they had tough times, and they kind of lost either control of or sold or never had any of these IPs. So Gone with the Wind, Pink Panther, Wizard of Oz, 007, we'd have to negotiate with those entities separately. So that was way cost prohibitive. So that's just not going to work out. Plus, it was another movie theme park. And I'm a creative guy, supposedly. I was like, why are we doing another movie theme park? Because there's Paramount and Disney's got one, blah, blah. So what we did is late one night while I'm panicking, I send an email to Stephen Goodwin. And I say, Stephen, here's my wacky idea. What if we did a Hard Rock Park? The bikers would like it. They like it. The golfers would like it. The kids that go to the beach, they would like it. It would be terrific. And he goes, well, I used to work for Hard Rock. And I'm like, what? Well, he worked for Rank, and Rank owned Hard Rock. So Rank also owned 50% of Universal. But Rank, so he goes, I know the guy who's in charge of licensing the brand. And I'm like, who is he? His name's Oliver Monday. Oliver Monday, you talk to him, maybe we can get something going. I'm like, well, where do I meet this Oliver Monday guy? He goes, he's your next door neighbor, you idiot. I'm like, oh. Sure enough, my next door neighbor, the guy with the yappy dog that Greg Louganis needs to train, is the guy that I got to go talk to. So what do you do to your neighbor? You go to your neighbor with a bottle of wine and a quick sheet that you put together of what is Hard Rock Park, and you sit down and you talk about it. And he's British, so he's very professional. And he's like, oh, yes, we will socialize it and all those words that you use. And I'll talk to my people and, I'll get back to you if there's any interest. It's very fascinating, very interesting. Thank you so much. And then I left, and weeks later, we're in Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, we're still kind of trying to work things out with MGM. It's not going great, and it's not their fault. We're just trying to make it work and everything. And all of a sudden, I get a phone call from Oliver Monday saying, remember when we got together, we had that wine, and you told me that you had a design for a theme park for, Hard Rock branded theme park? And I went, did I say that when we were drinking wine? He goes, yes, well, I'm got to meet you in 2 days. Need to see the property and see your master plan of the Hard Rock Park. And I went, oh, yes, absolutely. That would be fantastic. Terrific. I hang up and I go, Stephen, what are we going to do? Well, all we had was this and a Kinko's. So what we did, we are not Photoshop experts. It's 2002. Went to the Kinko's and we found some tape, and we turned this into the Hard Rock. Thank you. I want to show you some of our quality workmanship. There you go. Whoa, that's nicely taped on there. And we took this with us. And then we're in Kinko's, we're just making stuff up. And, brand aside and all that, we're, whoever's hanging around Kinko's, we're like, what do you think of this? What do you think about classic rock? Does that look good to you? All right, let's do that. Save the Planet. That's cool. Stairway to Heaven coaster, sure. Magical Mystery Tour, Blinded by the Light. All of you can do this. You can just pick a song and just go, oh, yeah, far out. Anyway, so they're in for a fee. They want their they want their licensing fee. And I was like, okay, all right. Please, sir. I go to the guys. I would like to, and they go, no. You're in the entertainment business. These are your people. Go talk to your people. And I said, okay, I will. I tried to find the ones of you that have money. There's not a lot. And there's not a lot of people who've done this before. But there was one guy that, I thought was refreshing, because most of the people I talk to are polite. And I hate that, because they were like, oh, yes, that's a great idea. That's really good. I like to think about that. I'll get back to you. I'm like, oh, he's out. But this one guy was honest, and it was just refreshing. And that was George Millay. George Millay, those of you who know him or knew him, he is a powerhouse, and he does not pull punches. And basically, I said, George, we'd like money for it. And he said, no. The answer is no. I do my own ideas. Why do I want to do your ideas? I went, okay. And he goes, you know what? By the way, I came up with this idea a while back and I pitched Universal on it. I wanted to start small and do a theater and things like that. I wanted to do a Hard Rock Park. Sure enough, he did. So there's, no great, I thought I had a great idea. George Millay had it years before I did. And he said, by the way, I said, they don't want to do small. They want to do a big theme park. Hard Rock's not going to be interested in this, blah, blah, blah. And he said, good luck. You're never going to get it funded. Call me when you need me. Bye, click. And I did. I called him once a month just to give him an update. He goes, got it funded yet? No. He goes, I didn't think so, click. He was refreshing. I really, really enjoyed him. HRP was funded March of 2006. And I couldn't wait to call that guy and say, listen, you old man. He passed away February of 2006. So I did not get the satisfaction it was a bummer. So I had to go back to Tim and Dick, the two people who really, put the money in. And I had to say, look, my industry, I just can't find it. I'm sorry. They ponied up the dough. Bless them. There's the licensing agreement, and we are now members of the Hard Rock brand. So what do you do when you have a Hard Rock brand? You start playing with the logo. That's what we did. Whoa, let's do the logo. Wow, this would be cool. That's awesome. We're playing with the logo, and we go, stop, get back, don't get too crazy. Let's work with this. And for 3 years, this was the logo. In fact, I have some hats out there. If anybody wants one that has the old Hard Rock Park logo on it. We started developing classic rock, Born in the USA, Cool Country, Save the Planet. Shout out to Kelly Devine, who actually is in the house, and his guys who put this stuff together. Greg Pro worked on some concepts for us, including the all-access entry plaza. And Morris Architects gets involved. Now we got the master planners. We set up offices right underneath Morris Architects. They hated that until they found out that they could just go, can we give it this color? Okay, great. And they're done. It was easy, right? Morris Architects. Todd McCurdy. Rock on, Todd. He starts developing flow. We got to do flow and things like that. Now we're starting to get real with this thing. And we're working on the designs as far as that goes. Now let's bring somebody who has the expertise in operating. Felix Mussenden. Some of you may or may not know him, but he was operations, head of operations for Universal for many years. He is now head of operations for House of Blues. Felix Mussenden comes on. So now we've got 3 guys. We've got the guy who's the content guy. We've got the money dude. And then we've got the operations guy. We break off, and I have to leave FHTP LLC to form HRP Creative and Management because it would be a conflict of interest. We were basically the management team, and that's where it stopped. Basically, that was it. It was me, Steven, and Felix. If you had an operations question, go to Felix. We're right underneath you. If you got a creative question, just come to me. The brand only offered the brand. That was it. So don't mess with the logo. Use some of the materials they like to use. Other than that, we pretty much got to do whatever we wanted to do. That's something that a lot of kids are like, you got to do your own theme park and you got to make all the decisions. I said, yes, I only had money to deal with. That was the big thing. We had not had the money yet. But we got going. To get the big money, we had to kiss a lot of frogs. But here are the guys that really ponied up the major dough. These are New York. Most of them are my Jewish brothers. Dick Rosen actually is Jewish as well. And every once in a while, we go, Dick, these guys, you're Jewish. Talk to them. What is it that they want? He goes, I don't know. I'm a Southern Jew. They're Northern Jews. Zeal Feldman was the leader of the group. He's a very powerful developer in Manhattan. How did he get involved? Because he saw a book that we put together. His son actually did, in the kitchen counter. And his son said, this would be cool. Let's do it. Be awesome. There's the book. And then Bill Cunningham, he helped.
This is the modern-day hippie who dreamed up almost everything at the park. Master designer, Bill Cunningham.
Oh, I see you dreamed up everything. Okay, fine. There's Bill. Stuck him in that office. That taught him. Meanwhile, Hard Rock gets a new CEO. I didn't sign the deal with this guy. He's new. They sell to the Seminole Indian tribe. They don't know what's going on. We're building the park. We're trying to get funded. Hard Rock Park, the first thing the CEO does, because he's a licensing guy, he goes, that logo will not work. I'm standardizing all logos. Let's go with this logo. And I went, that's interesting. And I think it's a terrible idea. But I didn't have any rule over the logo. The reason I thought it was a terrible idea is because when you're driving into Myrtle Beach and you see this, what is it, a cafe? Is it a park? Is it a what? There's nothing, you saw the ad, you think, oh, the cafe rocks like a roller coaster. Let's go to the cafe. It did not work so well. I'd much rather push park really hard rather than standardize with all the other logos. That's my opinion, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, on with the park. So, Hard Rock Park, this is our finished book. Have it out there on the table for you to take a look at. This was our Bible. This is what we worked off of. We put this together, and it showed all sorts of things. We built a model, a white model. This damn thing had to be with us for 2 years. We're carrying this stupid white model around with the thing. And what we do is we work things out. Like, let's do this. We can go through here. Then you see the icon. That's cool. But ultimately, we did do a nice model. Thank you, Genesis Studios. Very cool, beautiful model, and a nice rendering. We start flushing out some things. We have British Invasion instead of classic rock. We have Rock and Roll Heaven. So we start working on the logos and things like that. And we start figuring this stuff out. Ron Bennett, I want to talk about him. This is the man that, for Mars Architects, did all the facade theming artwork. What a talent. He won't get in an airplane, but what a talent. And he was awesome. Here's a Ron Bennett concept. Here's the final product. Ron Bennett concept, final product. I mean, he really, really had a feel for that thing. So we had good people working on it. Still not funded yet, but we're in the news, talking about it and everything. So on top of it, we need an iconic brand. We had hard rock, but we wanted to have one band that really would just kill. And so Rolling Stones, Steel Wheels, that's cool. We do roller coaster, Steel Wheels, get it? Okay. But we really wanted Stairway to Heaven. And we got it. Well, we didn't get Stairway to Heaven. We got Led Zeppelin. They were not interested in giving us Stairway to Heaven. They said, that's too important. They play it at funerals and things like that. So we said, okay, understood. So we won them over with this rudimentary video that we put together.
Woman, you need
Really cool. Anyway, there's our logo. This is a logo that we wanted to do, and the band turned us down. So I did have to get some approvals on things, mostly logos. And the other thing the band was not thrilled was when I was pitching it the first time, I sang it, and we have Robert Plant in the room, and I'm going, woman, you. And I see him go. Okay, let me play the video, All right. Shout out to Wayne Clark, Kyle Miller, Stephen Woody, Adam Elizabeth. There's a lot of logos. It's not just band logos. There's a lot of logos to this park. There's a lot. Building a theme park's hard. Feasibility study is done, and off we go to the races. Here we go. We get Hensel Phelps. We did do a little bit of a bidding there. Hensel Phelps Construction Company. Here we go. Deutsche Bank is our main bank. Jeffries is there. We do a road show. I got to go in an airplane and pitch bankers and stuff like that. And we are funded. Just that simple. Funded. This is what it's called, a tombstone, which is kind of pitiful for Hard Rock Park, but a tombstone is an award that bankers give to each other for pulling together borrowed money. Congratulations, we got this much money, here's an award. So we made this tombstone, and basically, to oversimplify it, we got about $400 million. That's a far cry from the $20 million we were trying to pull off for the little park. Sometimes it's easier to just get more money, I guess. But we were on the bubble of the junk bond market, so that will ultimately lead to our demise. Just so that you know, $225 million was what was spent to build the park. The rest went to interest loan payments of that $400 million. Okay, now we get the muscle in. We get the executive group. Mike Cross, he's fantastic. Everybody is. Benita Lloyd was with me from the very beginning. She was a little emotional when we opened the park. Lee Antonio Ketchum, legal. We signed all of our agreements with IP and all that. Okay. Then we had a groundbreaking ceremony. There's Oliver. There's Stephen Goodwin as the CEO. There's Governor Mark Sanford. There's my wife and little kids. It was a wonderful time at that time. And there's the governor with his kids. He's speaking. About 3 years later, he had a little issue with an affair. But anyway. And there's our money. There's our money. They're all lined up. And I love this guy because he holds the money, obviously. There's my wife at the party, at the groundbreaking party. There she is. Here we are a couple of hours later. Here she is with some other guy much later in the evening, and then with one of the investors. But I'm just going, go, baby. Stay with the investors. Stay with the investors. There's Bill Nassel. I want to just break away and just talk about something real quick. We were the coolest park in the world to the vendors because Bill Nassel would go, okay, you got cool country. We're building a water tower. What should we put on it? What are you going to put on it? And I go, well, I don't know. Put Nassel on it. That's fine. And he was like, awesome. Thank you. And speaking of speakers, which I'm not, but here I am now. Speakers, we were proud of our speakers. Don't hide your speakers, man. We made them big. Peavy about lost it, in a good way. That's the logo they used to have. And we said, oh, come on, jack the logo up. Come on, here are our sponsors. And so, boom, there's Peavy speakers. Yeah. Hey, it's great being a Hard Rock Park. You don't have to hide that. They gave us T-shirts, too, so cool. Anyway, in our British Invasion area, we celebrated all of our, all the guys that worked with us. Terrific. Another thing I want to talk about as far as audio goes. All the King's Horses, it's carousel. One of my pet peeves, since I'm building the theme park, it's mine, I can do whatever I want, as long as I stay in budget, is I hate music collision. I hate it. I hate that. You go one place and they're playing calliope music, and over here you're playing rock and roll music, and in the middle it sounds like crap. So what we came up with was the idea that why don't we try to marry them together? So we did 400 songs where we actually took the master recording, worked with ASCAP and BMI, and then we did calliope versions of them and steel drum versions and everything, where you'd be standing in the park and you'd hear this. Just a girl, what you wanted to be. But you want to go over to the carousel. So you walk over to the carousel. Here's the kids area. We're going to walk back to the park. Yes, I'm going to be a star. That worked really well. And to the credit of those who came to the park and saw it, they recognized that and they gave us a lot of kudos for that. So sound was good. We also had sound areas where the bar would play. If the bar was playing music, then the whole area played that music. So we all enjoyed it together. There's Todd in the bar doing what he does best. Upstairs was a VIP area, the PV Lounge, really cool. That's the bathroom of the Whammy Bar. That speaks to we had things called Hard Rock Park Discoveries. This was a broken mirror in the women's bathroom. It was 2 seconds delayed, so you'd comb your hair and then you'd see yourself combing your hair. In here, we had in the restaurants, we had interactives in the restaurants. This was a musical fountain. Very talented David Jordan, working with Roto, put together this musical fountain where you put your hands through it. It plays Stairway to Heaven. There's the Rock Cowbilly. So lots of interactives. And then simple stuff, just simple things. One of the greatest PR moves I thought we did is we gave free tickets away to people who donated some of their album covers. We covered the top of the area with album covers. And below, it's graffiti wall. So you signed your name. And everybody did it. It was the coolest thing to do. Not only did just normal people do it, but also our celebrities. Arlo Guthrie, why was he signing it? Because we had Alice's Restaurant, damn it. It was great. And take a look at there. This is a Lazy Susan. And the Lazy Susan, another discovery, kind of cool. All of the influences of Arlo Guthrie are on the board, but when you see it reflected up in the tube, there's his picture, Arlo Guthrie's picture. Just cool stuff like that. Riff notes, we had things. Michael Jackson owns the rights to the South Carolina state anthem. Things like that all throughout the park. If we had an empty wall, look what you could do. Isn't that awesome? Most photographed item of all. They would go to Bohemian Rhapsody. We did a nighttime spectacular. They'd play their air caderas with it. It was really an emotional experience. That's one of our employees. I like that too. I was in charge of the costuming for the employees. She was part of karaoke queue line. So when you're in the queue line, you step up, you sing along to your favorite 80s karaoke hit. Oh, we had Phonehenge. That's a performance area. So we got to do lots of fun things. So we got fun. We had a groundbreaking. We got to building. Here we go.
The world's first rock and roll theme park. Big expectations. Because the rides have to rock as much as the famous soundtrack. The bar has been set high.
Yes, it has, and I'm going to keep moving. Here's what we accomplished in 9 months. From this to that, 9 months. We hauled. This thing was actually done, completed a month ahead of schedule and under budget. But no one talks about that because, we want to talk about the other stuff. Here's just, what it looked like when it was under construction. Here's what it looked like when it was finished. This is the team that did it. Now, normally when you're working on a project for one attraction, that's the size of your team. This team did the entire park. They managed and supervised the entire park. And they had, like this lady here that's on the vest, she's there because, they also had time, I don't know why, to get pregnant. When anybody had time to get pregnant, I'm not sure, but we took advantage of everyone, even the unborn. For our Nights in White Satin, the trip ride, we used the image, the ultrasound, to put the kid in there. So the kid's in the park. Anyways, Russ Dagan. Russ Dagan was the leader of this. Russ Dagan, if you know him, he's awesome and very cool, calm, and collected. And he pulled this thing off. There he is saying, I can't believe Jon Binkowski talked me into this. And we got building. There's lots of building pictures. I'm going to whiz through those. But we had some mistakes too. Oops. Hey, soft sand. It was like a slow motion disaster. But we got through it. Our friends at Vacoma took care of business. So operations team led by Dale Ketzel. Terrific. All disciplines. Doug Mangino. This is what our gift shops look like. They were just awesome. They were wonderful, beautiful. Our food was fantastic. Through the roof. We even had, the cups and all that. Meanwhile, we have a backstage tour. We got this out parcel, and we have we do a walkthrough so everybody can experience what this park is. So we're building up momentum. We have some of our announcements. The Moody Blues were there. So we have the Moody Blues. They signed the wall, so we're getting word out. Moody Blues were the first, well, okay, they weren't the first people we talked to. We talked to this band before. We talked to the Moody Blues, Moody Blues. And we talked to the Beatles. Didn't work out. So there's some things that we went after. It didn't work. But Moody Blues, they were excellent partners with us. And they were really impressed with me because I just said intelligent things and I knew what I was doing, okay? All right. Anyway, they went to Russia to re-record Nights in White Satin. Why? Because they didn't own the rights to it. It was the 60s, and all these bands got screwed. So we went back, re-recorded it. So did the Eagles, re-recorded their song so that they could get a little something out of this. It was a sleeper hit. It was a big, big success. Meanwhile, while we're in Russia, they're at IAPA. These are all of our ride partners. They were terrific partners. Every one of them did a great job. So that's all going good, and we keep building. We built rides. There, dun, 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 dun. That was shot from there. We did, I'm going to keep going here. We did the Slippery When Wet ride. That was a fun ride, and you got to participate there. Shake, Rattle, and Roller Coaster. A monster truck ride, maximum RPM, and then Midnight Rider. Midnight Rider, we called it Midnight Rider, but then we revealed that actually it was Life in the Fast Lane, Eagles. Every one of our rides, at the end of the ride, had some cool effect. This one had an awesome fire effect that you hit when you hit the ride. So that was great. So we built shows. We did a concert venue that in its short-lived time did all of these different artists. Fantastic. We had the Eagles. It was right on. Okay. There's my little theater, the thing that started the whole thing. Now it is the Ice House Theater, and had an award-winning show that collected its award while we were going Chapter 11 at IAPA. Also, another award was collected while we were going Chapter 11. We had a great stunt show, and we built lands or zones. And look at this. This is the quality of theming. Now, remember, most of the people that worked on this went on to work on other crappy projects like Harry Potter and stuff like that. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful work done by excellent people in the industry. Awesome. I'm getting to it. Don't worry. We made people laugh. Look at that. We did Whack a Boy Band. I mean, where else can you do Whack a Boy Band? And when you played it, here's the music.
Hit me, hurt me, whack me, come on, smack me. Hit me, hurt me, whack me, smack me, baby, yeah.
Commercials.
Aren't you adorable?
Rock and roll!
Must have been to Hard Rock Park. Thrilling rides, killer shows, fans of all ages rock at Hard Rock Park, where rock comes to play.
And our employees were super happy. We had an award-winning employee program. Fantastic. And I give Hard Rock a lot of credit for that. Absolutely. We tried to be kitsch and exotic and be cool in some locations. There's John Lennon as a tiki statue. in our restaurant. I got to go to Bali. That was really tough, and pick out a couple of things that ended up in the park. That was fun. We had tributes to all of the artists living and passed away. We pleasantly offended a few people. This was when God gave the pick to Adam. Oops. Okay, so there's the Last Supper. Okay, well, it wasn't just religious. Don't worry. We also had drug trip references. It wasn't really. And good play areas for kids. Okay. We had to remove this statue. I don't know why, but this was actually college kids. It was a whole competition, and they won and got to have their sculpture made when they designed it. We had nice signage and things like that. So we were irreverent. This is a commercial that was banned. It's not that bad, but it was banned. Here we go.
Did you ladies enjoy your meal?
Must have been to Hard Rock Park.
Anyway. Oh, the Eat Me Diner. That was good. That was a good one. The cod piece fish and chips. We served cod, so we thought that was a good idea. It did not hurt sales. Sales were good. And we did a tour of the building to get open. We toured with the Magical Mystery Tour bus. We went to, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was fantastic. We did a ton of PR. We blew open the gates. It was a huge ceremony. Everybody was there. Initially, it was a thrill. And we had grand opening swag, and I have some swag that's out there on the table. If anybody who's, into this kind of thing, you can have it. You can take it, okay? Seriously, the pin, it's the gates opening up to another pin. It's fantastic. Anyway, we have representations of all of our lands and blah, blah. Okay, so reviews were good. Per caps were through the roof. Those who entered spent money and had a great time. Our per caps were awesome. I mean, comparing to Orlando, our numbers were through the roof. People that were there were spending money and having a fantastic time. However, I do have to now defer to this one clip here, illegally probably.
Sometimes at the height of our revelries, when our joy is at its zenith, when all is most right with the world, the most unthinkable disasters descend upon us.
And that disaster is called 2008. Gas prices rose to $5. We had a market crisis. Our banks, the banks who invested in us, were scrambling. They were in a panic, and housing was going crazy. It was a bad time for everybody. It was a terrible time for Hard Rock Park. Attendance was very low. And to be honest with you, when we should have been doing 10,000 people a day, we were doing 1,000 people a day. When we should have been doing 20,000, we were doing 2,000. They were having a great time, but that didn't pay the bills, and we were on a high-interest loan. Nobody cares about the park that was completed on, ahead of schedule and on time. When you have this. This dude, I don't know him, but he summed it up pretty good. And I'm just going to read it for you. In the end, it was the lethal combination of this theme park's mismanaged marketing. We'll talk about that. The sudden spike in gas prices, tourists significantly cutting back. I hate the word staycation. I will always hate staycation. And visitors balking at the one price for everyone admission policy, which was it was an ill-conceived idea, but I want to talk about that. Here we go. Let's talk to ticket pricing. Ticket pricing. We had this idea. Orlando's kid price at the time was about $50. We said, we'll make all of our price $50. That'll be, all is one. It's a Hard Rock theme. All is one. Everybody pays $50. Up to three free. After that, $50. That did not go over well. People would say, okay, it's $50. What's the kid price? We go, no, that is the kid price. Oh my God, that did not go over well. So bad idea. We could change that. The other thing was our marketing. Yeah, our marketing wasn't bad, actually. I think our marketing was actually pretty good. Our website was awesome. Our PR was fantastic. We just didn't have enough of it. When we, in 2020 hindsight, go back, we should have spent 20 times more. We had this bad idea. They would come to the beach and we could pull them off the beach. We needed to get to them 6 months before they went to the beach. And then, of course, just in general, 2008. So we were so highly leveraged, we could not pay our interest rates. And so, obviously, this is what happened. Could I have done things differently from a creation of the park? No, I was awesome. I did a great job. Yes, of course I could have. Biggest thing, if you ask me, what could I have done? That's why I could have hidden those roller coasters from view. The biggest comment I got was, I drove by your park. It looks like something I got at my hometown. There's just iron rides that are poking up over the fence. They have no idea the theming of the Hard Rock. They knew nothing other than it looks like an iron ride park. So anyway, to the kids, to the firefighters, and everybody, the fans, I'm sorry. I wonder if other major parks built from the ground up would have suffered the same fate if they had not a mothership. We did not have a mothership to see us through. If we could have gotten through 3 years, 4 years, I think this would be a whole different story, but it's not. 2008, let me show you some pictures from 2008. Look how pretty that park was. Beautiful job by everybody involved. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And then I'm going to show you 2017. This is what it looks like now. You get the idea. We were a little short on time, but basically, it's been used in a couple of post-apocalyptic television shows. Thank you very much. And the question is, would I do it again? Hell yeah, I would. Hell yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Jon.
Ah, yes, a standing ovulation. Thank you so much.
Jon, a couple of questions for you. That was fantastic. Thank you. So,
quick questions because I know everyone has to pee, including me. So,
all of the the other vendors and all the people that worked with us, all these great folks. What was their attitude after all this came apart?
Everybody was upset, but everybody was proud. We have people who worked on this in this room. You're proud, right? I mean, it was an awesome. Still are. You're proud. So that's true.
Did you have to watch your back at all? It was all good.
Well, most everybody got paid. The ones who were most upset, from a payment standpoint, were the kids that thought, "I've got a career here. I'm going to be here for what? We're closing. What? So they were a little bummed out, and they don't know who to blame. So blame management. It's like these guys got me in this situation. I was going to have this career at Hard Rock Park, and now I'm out of a job. So they were the ones that were probably most upset.
What about the investors? Did you have to watch your back from the investors?
The investors, the interesting thing about our investors is that they didn't really have a lot of cash into this thing. Of the $400 million, I estimate that we had probably about $20 million cash all in. It was all borrowed money. So for them, with 2008, the way it was, the way things were situated, the best thing for them to do was write off the loss, and just get out of there. Because when you go back to them and say, well, for us to open again for 2009, it'll cost $25 million, and then they say, we put in $20 million for a $400 million park, and you're telling me 25 now to just last for 1 year? We'll write it off. And it's a business decision, and I respect them for that.
One last question, because we're about to slap out of time. What was the story with the Freestyle Park?
Freestyle Park. Steve Baker got his Russian friends involved in getting this and buying it off the courthouse steps. But to tell you how tough the market was, especially for those first 2 years, they invested some money to re-up it. They couldn't have the hard rock brand or the rock and roll stuff or whatever, but they opened it up, and they had a hard time of it too. I'm telling you, those 2 years were very tough. So I felt for them as well, and I am very close with a lot of the people that worked on the Freestyle Park.
Okay, I think we got to be done. Jon Binkowski.